Yeah, I don't know if this is my like getaway outfit or I'm an ex-con outfit, dude.
Aren't they all one and the same?
They're pretty
in this movie.
They're pretty similar.
Yes.
There's no difference between.
I mean, to be one, you got to be the other in this movie.
Yeah.
So whatever.
I like this perspective. It makes me look like I'm the bigger guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to film all of them like this from now on.
Yeah, you'll be like the Tom Cruise, like on an Apple box. Like, oh, talking to, like I'm dating a girl. She's 5'9" and I'm 6'1".
Yeah.
No, you're not, Thomas.
Thomas Cruise.
Yes.
A recently released ex-con and his devoted wife. Sorry, I like that.
Thank you.
You did that again, but sorry,
Thank you.
I blew myself up. I should have just looked at it. A recently released ex-con and his devoted wife go on a run after a heist goes awry. Are they going to be able to get away, or will they be caught by all the parties trying to stop them? This can only mean one thing. Sorry, this is the second JB shot of the podcast. This guy, he's a problem.
Getting away.
He's getting away with everything. All right. This can only mean one thing. We're watching this episode of... Sorry. This can only mean one thing. We're watching The Getaway and The Getaway on this episode of Retro vs. Remake.
Retro vs. Remake!
Remake! Alright.
Ding, ding,
Ding, ding, doo. Yeah, you just heard the song. You know how it goes.
You know how it goes. What's up? Welcome to Retro vs. Remake. I'm Dan Farley.
I'm Reggie Parker.
You could like, subscribe, whatever, on iTunes, Spotify, Apple, what is it?
YouTube.
Google.
Yeah, Google Play.
Yeah,
all
Google
that.
Play. Comment. Any comments you want, please welcome. It's so good to see you. You can find me at DanFarley18 on Instagram, at JerseyDan18 on X to the Z, and then my heterosexual life mate.
That's me, Reggie Parker. You can find me on Instagram at RP Comedy, on Twitter, the same, well, X, Elon, at the same thing. Yeah, like, subscribe, follow. You know how we do. We're podcasting.
Podcasting, son.
That's what we do, son. So we've watched some very interesting films.
We're still at this is the final movie of Steve September.
Yeah.
So Steve McQueen, who has had so many remakes of his movies, by the way. We've done 3 of them.
Right.
This
and
is
there's
the 3rd.
more to go.
And there's more. There's Papillon. There's The Magnificent Seven, which you guys did, but you can do Seven Samurai with that.
That's right. Seven Samurai would be there.
And I think there's even one more that's escaping me, like just now, but there's so many.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Who does the mechanic?
Oh, that's Charles Bronson.
That is Bronson. Yeah, that is Bronson.
That's
I was trying to do like Bullet. I was trying to figure that out.
Bullet. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff. Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen.
Oh man,
this has been a revelation. I think your suggestion of Steve September has changed my life.
Yeah, Steve McQueen's just so cool.
He's very cool man.
He's just a cool guy.
Very cool man, and he doesn't stop. He does it again
in The Getaway
film. The Getaway is a 1972 American heist thriller film based on a 1958 novel by Jim Thompson. Film was directed by Sam Peckinpah. Written by Walter Hill. Stars Steve McQueen, Ally McGraw, Ben Johnson, Al Lettieri, and Sally Struthers. Sally Struthers, great.
Sally Struthers.
So dope.
Al Lettieri, I'm just going to refer to as Sollozzo from The Godfather, by the way. Sollozzo, because that's what he is.
I always knew it was Sollozzo.
I'm not that clever.
And followed up by a remake. The Getaway is a 1994 American action thriller film directed by Roger Donaldson, screenplay by Walter Hill and Amy Holden Jones. Again, once again based on Jim Thompson novel of the same name. The film stars Alec Baldwin, Kim Basinger, Michael Madsen, James Woods, and Jennifer Tilly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it. And David Morse too. You want to throw? We could throw him in.
Yeah, David Morse for sure.
Yeah.
Throw him in.
Yeah, he's in there. Yes. So I mean, how did you get introduced to this movie?
The '90s film. I've definitely seen it at some point in my life. Like it's just like The Getaway.
Yeah.
Which is one of those movies that like, is that a TV? Is it on? The Getaway might be on it. You know.
That's true.
I wasn't really familiar with the original, but yeah, in some capacity, I've seen The Getaway, and without getting into it too deep, that was my experience with the first film, just like on TV. Watching.
Yeah, I was aware of this. I was aware of The Getaway coming out, and then I was aware that there was a sex scene with Kim Basinger. So, two to be in fact. And then I was hanging around saying, "Who's this Jennifer Tilly lady?"
Oh yeah.
And then you stay for the guns and the violence and the robbing and the shenanigans. But that's what actually turned me on to this movie initially, to the remake.
Right.
I did not know it was a remake of a movie, and then in my discovery of Steve McQueen, which is. Don't you find it odd? Like, how did you not know anything about Steve McQueen after watching all these cool movies? Like, your father knows Steve McQueen. He's like, yeah, that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, of course he's awesome. But you're like, Dad, have you seen this movie? He's like, yes, it's amazing.
It's Steve McQueen.
It's Steve McQueen. Of course I've seen that movie. And it's just so good. All of his movies, you're like, what else am I missing out there? Like,
I know.
Where's this other? Who's this band? The Beatles? What?
I've lived the whole life. It's almost like sometimes when you think about art, movies, music, all this stuff, and it's like I could spend the rest of my life trying to like watch everything. It's never gonna happen.
No, it's never
gonna happen.
You're never gonna catch up.
Literally die before that happens.
Yes. And then, it's almost like when people talk to you about television.
Right.
Like, no matter how much television you've seen, no matter what shows you've seen, now that there's so many, and every streaming service has their own original. There's always some asshole that you're just like, oh, did you see Breaking Bad? Yeah, I love Breaking Bad. Yeah. Oh, let's talk about it. But have you seen, I don't know, Severance? No, I've never seen it. Like, it's like, okay, well, and then they look at you like, oh, you gotta see that. And that's how the conversation always ends. Like, I'm never gonna...
It always ends right there.
Never gonna be on top of this conversation fully.
No, because like there's always gonna be the thing you didn't see. And honestly, you gotta trust that asshole. Like, is this asshole actually giving me something I need to watch? Or
no, there's several. You're like, no, I'm not doing that. We're not. This is garbage, and you know it. It's like just judging on that person's opinion. You're like, we're not gonna watch this.
Garbage. I'm also for the audience. I'm gonna reframe this just a bit. Looks good, but it could look better. There's Dan. There's Reg. Here's Dan. Here's Reg. That looks a little bit more.
Here's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't look like I'm very large. You don't. Yeah, we're good.
Spread out a little.
Okay. Yeah, spread your wings.
Spread your wings.
But yeah, no, you can never win that.
No, you can't. No matter what, and it's with everything: movies, books, TV, music. Like, people are always like, oh, have you listened to this?
But you got to trust your instinct, because like sometimes you follow up on that shit. You're watching like this is garbage. This is a waste of my time.
Like, I will never listen to Bill's opinion ever again.
What does Bill know?
What does Bill know? Jack shit is what Bill knows. But no, Jack, we say that to say. So to say, Steve McQueen, highly recommend. Pretty much anything movie, and he does. Steve McQueen's in. You can. It's pretty good. It's probably gonna be pretty cool.
After this, I'm probably gonna watch like YouTube videos like the 10 best Steve McQueen movies. Because why not? Because I'll probably just go watch them. Yeah. He's not failed me once this September.
No, so far September, it's been solid. And this movie is no exception. Yeah. And it's both of them pretty exciting.
Yeah, no one can say that these movies are devoid of action. I mean, something is always happening.
Yes, in all of these movies. And it's Some of it is incredibly messed up, and I guess the first thing, I guess so. Yeah, that's. I guess we'll just dive right into it.
We'll dive right in. We'll give you guys a bit of a synopsis here. An incarcerated bank robber, Carter Doc McCoy, seeks the aid of his wife Carol to free him from his prison sentence by making a deal with a corrupt businessman named Jack Banyan. Banyan sets him up with a big heist, and Carter, being a criminal mastermind, agrees for his freedom. The heist goes poorly?
Yes.
It doesn't go so
I
good.
guess. I mean, they do get the money.
It works, and yeah. Well, they get the money. And honestly, if it was just up to, in this case, we'll just instead of saying Carter, I'm going to say Steve McQueen. If it was just up to Steve McQueen and his infinite coolness, it would have worked out just fine.
It would have been fine.
But there's always an asshole.
And Alec Baldwin, if it's up to Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to give Alec Baldwin that grace as well. Yeah, Carter Doc McCoy does his job.
Yes.
Carol is there supporting him all the way. But there's some ne'er-do-wells.
Yes. The other people that he
didn't hire.
He doesn't hire them.
Made him use them.
Yes.
And that is where all the problems start.
Yeah. The main problem is that in both situations there's a guard.
That's right.
In the 72 version, they're robbing a bank, and apparently there's a huge payday. Which again, I'm like, that's a lot of money to be there, and it's like $500,000. And then the remake, they're robbing a dog track. Which, if it's a big payday, there's going to be a few million there.
Sure.
Cash, so that's fine. And then when that happens, there's a guard that gets, in the 72 one, they kind of just kill the guard. Like, he's kind of like making a move, but he's not really making a move. They could have stopped him. In the other one, Philip Seymour Hoffman, a young, billed as Philip Hoffman,
that's so
is, there's a cop, there's a prison guard that pulls a gun from his ankle and gets killed.
Yeah. And, which of course means that this heist has now been officially botched.
Yeah, it's now a murder.
Right. So the heat is its own.
Yeah.
Along the way, Doc is double-crossed by one of the robbers. In one movie, he may have a previous relationship with this person, business-wise. He gets the upper hand on that guy, and now he has the money, and he's on the run. Banyan and his men try to get Doc. Banyan is in both films is murdered by Doc's wife Carol for reasons that we will talk about.
Yes.
Again, creating more heat. So now he's got the law and he's got the criminal underworld looking for him. They're running all about mostly Texas, and it's a rough go. Things continue to happen. Doc and Carol, they have their ups and their downs. They fight their way out, and eventually, perhaps, they make a getaway. And that's
pretty much the movie.
That's how the films work.
Yeah. We're going to hit on all the other points.
Oh, there's so many things to talk about.
Points. First of all, the original starts with Steve McQueen in jail.
First of all, all right, so yeah, let's start there. But we'll do our little cast right here. Steve McQueen is Carter Doc McCoy in the 72 film.
I think you'll like it, Willie. I think he got to you.
And in 1996, that's Alec Baldwin who's playing Carter Doc McCoy.
I think I've got a way out of this place. There's this guy that works out of Phoenix. His name's Jack.
Yes, where you were with.
Yes. So Steve McQueen's in jail. He's been in jail for 4 years.
Yep.
And
4 years of a 10-year sentence. And he's in jail for, they don't really say. I mean, I assume that's the same stuff he's been doing. Probably robbing.
Yeah, probably robbing people. Yep. And he's up for parole.
Yep.
And he's denied parole. In the denial of parole, he asks his wife to go see this guy Banyan, and he said that he has something that could get him out of prison. So in that, that's where that movie starts.
Yes.
Then
And
she goes to see him. You don't know what happens, and then he gets out of prison.
absolutely. And just, again, to frame everything here, in the 72 film, Ally McGraw plays Carol McCoy.
Yes.
What did I tell you? Isn't that game?
It's all a game.
In 1996, Kim Basinger plays Carol McCoy.
Do the same for me, wouldn't you, Doc? You'd humiliate yourself for me, wouldn't you?
In 72, Ben Johnson plays Jack Binion.
In a hurry, Benyon. You still don't get the picture, do you? And I've always heard what a smart-ass operator you was.
And in 72, James Woods
James Woods.
plays Binion.
A businessman, lots of power and influence. A fellow who can easily get the husband a pardon. Why should he? One simple reason. Money.
James Woods in the that is such
Playing James Woods.
James Woods playing James Woods in such a nothing role.
Yeah.
Like it's so like I was waiting for because I watched the original first.
Right.
That I was waiting that role is so it's not insignificant. It's important.
Right.
It's 100% important. You
Right.
need that role in that movie to get the ball rolling on everything. But he's barely in it.
You expect him to do a bit
And
more.
then he gets murdered.
Yes. Yes.
And then James Woods, I'm like, oh, James Woods is in this. This has got to be a bigger role.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope. Same.
Say almost word for word
Pretty
the
much
same role.
based off a novel. So they,
Yes.
I will say that both films. Again, I don't know much about the novel, but clearly this novel is influential on how it doesn't seem like they deviate very far from the
No.
plot. Of
That
the book is what I'm trying to say.
including lines.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you were saying that the prison thing, right? So in 72, you see Steve McQueen. He's just in prison.
He's in prison.
doing prison labor.
Yes.
Getting denied parole, and you can kind of see that some of the parole board have this antagonistic relationship from him. So he's been a model prisoner, but they don't care. They don't want to let him out.
They don't want to let him out at all.
And you can see that prison is driving him nuts.
Yes, and he's breaking.
He's not doing well. This guy's used to being free and running wild. In 96, there's almost like a prelude. We get to see why he's in prison.
Yes, you see,
I don't know if
he breaks a drug cartel's nephew
yeah.
out of prison with Michael Madsen,
Yes.
who's the guy that. So this is where I immediately had problems with this movie.
All right. So, here we go. In the original film in 72, Al Lettieri plays Rudy Butler.
Also known as Salazzo.
Salazzo.
That's a walk-in bank, man. A piece of cake. You don't have to be Dillinger for that one.
Plays
Salazzo.
Rudy Butler. And this guy is another getaway driver, heist type guy who works
Another criminal.
Exactly, who works with Doc McCoy. Played by Michael Madsen.
Been my experience that having friends is overrated.
Who plays Rudy.
Who's the best thing in the world.
Oh,
I'm just going to go on this tangent now. There's an alternate universe where Michael Madsen could be one of the biggest stars of the 90s. He was supposed to be John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. It was written for him because he plays Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs, and John Travolta's character is his brother.
Right.
The Vic Vega and Vincent Vega. And then he turned it down because he was making Free Willy 2. Or Wyatt Earp, one of them. And he had to make Wyatt Earp. The worst Tombstone movie that year.
Oh, Michael Madsen and Pulp Fiction, it would have been.
Yeah.
Would have been a show.
I don't know. Michael Madsen's the man. I love Michael.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Though. It was it would have been.
And then he was supposed to be in Saving Private Ryan, and then he had to turn it down to do either again Free Willy or Wyatt Earp. I can't remember which one. And because he was contractually obligated, it's you couldn't be in Saving Private Ryan or Pulp Fiction, and then he also couldn't have been in Heat, one of the classic movies. Both of those went to Vincent. What's his name? From Heat. Why am I blanking on his name? No, Vincent D'Onofrio. No, the Vincent D'Onofrio's what's his name?
No, it's different. Sorry, you say Vincent. I just hear D'Onofrio.
I know. Tom, Tom Sizemore.
Oh,
Tom Sizemore. That's what I meant to say.
Shit.
He was supposed to be, and he took both roles. And then you're like, yo, Michael Madsen, and then on top of being the most unintentional, terrifying stepfather ever in Free Willy, and then Mr. Blonde, and then like all these other roles, and then he's in this, he's in like so many other things that he pops up, kind of Species, everything.
He's the brother in Rescue Me.
Yeah, he kills
great.
it. He's great. He could have been in so much, whatever. But he's the one that he's one of the antagonists in this movie.
This Rudy Travis.
Rudy.
Yeah.
The character itself in both things are the same thing.
Yeah.
He tries to get the money for himself from Doc, and he backstabs him, and Doc shoots him, so he thinks.
Right.
He does shoot him, but he thinks he kills him.
Right, but it turns out secretly
Rudy wearing a bulletproof vest because Doc suggested that they all do.
Now, I don't really mean this in a derogatory way, but the remake is the movie with character actors.
Yes.
You know? Like, that's kind of what's happening here.
Yeah.
Like, again, I don't want to dump on Alec Baldwin too much, because at the time, like you mentioned, like, the star power was up there. I've never personally been a big Baldwin guy, personally, except for in, like, supporting roles. I love him.
Yeah, like Glenn Ross.
Correct.
Yeah.
As, like, not quite the lead, but, like, not quite the, like that, almost like the A side, like 1A and 1B. Like, I like when he has someone, like, play off of, which he kind of does here.
He does, yeah. Kim Basinger.
Yeah.
At the height of her powers, and is stunningly gorgeous.
Super powerful in this. But yeah, again, and I'm mostly saying it's not even really about Baldwin, but, like, all these people who, like, you are used to seeing in films, playing, like, some very interesting characters.
Yeah.
Like, again, the term character actor is what's jumping out in my head. I don't personally, I don't know where you're going with this, but I don't personally love the addition of the Mexican bank heist scene, because, like, the only reason to do it is to make him mad at Michael Madsen, and he could just be mad at him because
he doesn't need to be mad at him because he double crosses him then. But the only thing that adds is, like, that he would be like, no,
right.
I'm not working with this guy. Like, you busted me out of prison. He's the reason I was in prison. So no, I'm not doing that. Like, this guy's clearly either he's incompetent or I can't trust him. Either way, I'm not working with him.
Right.
So no. And then he's like, well, you have to. This is my show. Okay, I'll see you later.
Yeah,
you can't send me back to jail.
Right. I guess you're gonna try to kill me or something?
Yeah, if you're gonna try and kill me, I'll take my chances with that. Like, that's the only thing, like, there's no way he would do this job. Especially that guy.
Right.
Doc would never do that. Like, the meticulous mind of, like, oh, I leave nothing to chance, and blah, blah, blah. He's not gonna trust, like, well, this wild card.
The guy that previously double-crossed you, you're right, he's not gonna put himself in a position to be double-crossed again.
No.
Because, like, the alternative is, I guess I'm just going back to jail.
Yeah.
Which is already a non-starter for Doc. I think starting in prison is so much more powerful because you see how prison's affecting him.
Yes.
Like, when you see Alec Baldwin in prison, and here's the other thing, too. I know it's a minor point, but it's major for me. 4 years versus 1 year.
Yes, a huge part. Huge difference.
Like, Alec Baldwin, I know it's a Mexican prison and everything like that, but he seems to be kind of just like, I'm gonna get out of here one day.
He's playing with a mouse.
Whereas, like, it almost feels like the way they directed the 72 film, he's cracking.
He's cracking. It's the monotony.
Yeah.
Like the machine sound constantly.
Yeah. Like, when he's pressing the scene, because, like, he gets denied parole. Like, I didn't quite know how to read the scene initially, but I was like, is he trying to, like, destroy this, like, manufacturing line? Cause, like,
so did I. I was like, is he actually, like, or is he gonna pull a wrestler move and, like, jam his hand in there? So he's like, I gotta.
I don't know. Like, this guy, and, like, so when he tells his wife, bust me out of here.
Please.
It, like, it feels visceral. Again, Steve McQueen just seeming like the dude he's playing.
Yes,
like,
the dude.
Maybe he is the greatest actor, because I just am convinced it's just Steve McQueen.
He's just doing these things. Every character is Steve McQueen actually doing it.
Because I think if you put Steve McQueen in prison, this is what would happen.
This is exactly. It's like,
I don't know what you need to do, but
I'm going to die. Also, there is a big thing, too, on the other side of that coin.
Sure. Go ahead.
Like the 4 years versus 1 year.
Right.
So he's been there 4 years. it's also a difference between he's done 4 years of 10 instead of 1 of 20.
Yeah.
You know, that's a huge difference too. Like, he's looking down the barrel of a lot more.
Yeah, that's true.
But he's looking down the barrel of double. But Steve McQueen's already, I'm gonna take it, and he's like, I'm not gonna make it here.
Right.
I'm gonna kill everyone.
Right, because it's
I'm
like
gonna kill myself.
It's almost half, and it's like, okay, maybe you did 4, maybe you do 8. You know,
Yeah.
but no, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
Versus like the first year or whatever.
He's chilling.
And also contextually with what these two movies are like, what happens with the wife in both films. Like after a year, it's like I didn't ask you to do all that.
Yeah.
After a year, after 4 years, like
yeah. After
okay.
4 years, okay. Yeah. She sleeps with
the wife.
Yeah. Benyon to get him out.
Yeah, Carol McCoy in both films sleeps with Benyon because Benyon's not a good guy.
Yeah.
He's not a good guy.
And rightfully so.
Yeah,
he's holding all the cards. He has this job, and
Kim Basinger and Alex shows up and
let me tell you something.
Needs some help.
Both of them, it's like habada. Yes, and especially Kim. Like, listen, Ally McGraw was gorgeous.
Yeah,
gorgeous woman.
Like
but
Kim
Basinger,
Kim Basinger.
That's the only. First of all, Kim Basinger is a far better actress than Ally McGraw.
Ally
McGraw is a block of wood in this movie. She's awful. She's terrible. She's not good. It's this plant over here. I could have a better scene with than Ally McGraw, but she's gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
But Steve McQueen is definitely the brain.
The only thing that, like, when they're on the run and everyone has, they know what they know he's married. If they have one look at his wife, Kim Basinger stands out wherever she is. It's like, oh, here's the most beautiful woman any of us have ever seen in all of our lives.
Right.
And Bill worked for Playboy. You know, like, it again comes back to Bill.
Nice.
But she's like, that's the only thing that, like, draws back of, like, I'm not going to say the realism of this movie, because I'm not going to say that, but because they're killing cops like it's candy in this movie, like it's the Warriors all over again in both movies. But she will stand out so much more. They are caught because it's like, oh, who is the absolutely stunning blonde that I will sacrifice my entire life just to smell her hair?
Right.
There's no way.
To your point,
Ally McGraw too is, but she could be more unassuming than Kim Basinger.
Well, like their ability, one, it's the time, the era that they're in.
Yes.
So, like, yes, you will believe that those two have been around for a while, because, like, how many people are like have in or watching the TV at that time and putting 2 and 2 together? Like, it happens from time to time, but like it's much more believable them being on the run versus like the 90s. But like, put all that aside. I think you made a good point about Allie. Again, nice woman and everything, but like, Steve McQueen has to really kind of carry these scenes because Allie's giving like
nothing. She's like, we got to go. We have to go. You sent me to him. What did you think was going to happen?
Right. Like, again, I don't know how you feel about Alec Baldwin. I think personally, I gotta let my own personal biases. I don't
mind Alec Baldwin.
No, he's fine. He's fine.
He's
it's
fine.
just like
it's so tough though to compare him to Steve McQueen.
That's my thing. It's like
you're not.
Like, Alec Baldwin is a star, but he's not that type of star.
Also, don't get me wrong. I remember this Alec Baldwin,
right?
And he's like handsome, and he is extremely handsome. Like, absolutely. And he's married to Kim Basinger at the time when they're filming this movie, and he's married to Kim Basinger.
Right.
Yes, he's like a study. But even like now, it's so funny seeing Alec Baldwin now, where he's put on weight and he's older. You could see the weight starting to come on. It's just kind of like, I know what's coming down the road for you, Alec.
Right.
It's kind of interesting.
But that's actually cool that they have that relationship, because the dynamic does feel. I will say it is more interesting when those two spar. Like, it feels like really contentious and like and like when he's pissed at her.
Kim Basinger is far better. Like, in every she's more gorgeous, but actress wise and the character that she is so much stronger. It's so like Steve McQueen's right. Like you
Oh,
said,
he's
carrying,
he's pushing,
and he's also like,
pushing
come on,
Yeah.
we're leaving.
Exactly.
Like he's the one. It's my idea. Shut up. I'm going.
Well,
this.
even like the scene where Kim Basinger's like, yeah, I did it, and I didn't tell you, and this is why I didn't tell you, because I knew you were going to react like this.
Yeah, you
because
idiot.
you couldn't handle it.
Yeah, and of course, I slept with him. I slept with him to get you out of jail.
Right.
And because I love you. Yeah, maybe it wasn't the best thing to do, but it worked.
Right. And
then he's like, God, you're right.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. But like when there is tension between these two, from the acting perspective.
Meanwhile, she's like, well, I'm sorry, I slept with him, and then crack. The domestic violence in this movie is off the walls. Like,
I mean, Alec gets his little slaps in,
but Steve McQueen, this is like Jesus, like Turner, and so I just wanted him, like he slaps her like multiple times.
Yep.
And then he punches what's her name in the face. Sally Struthers, cracks her dead in the face. And don't get me wrong, deserves it and and it's funny, and she's trying to kill you. I mean, yeah, I got it. But he straight up just duffs her in the face.
Yeah.
And then he gets also on the train gets into a thing with a kid who pulls out a water gun on him and squirts him in the face. And he's also a young African-American kid,
true.
so we're adding a race element into this. He snatches that kid and threatens him, and squeezing his arm like, I will break your arm. That kid is 9 years old. You're a grown man. It's a water gun.
Yep.
Like, and go to your goddamn mom, and like stuff. Like, Steve McQueen, you threatened a child. You abused the child. You're guilty of domestic violence on multiple occasions, and you're assaulting a woman. And at the same time, the director did not have final Peckinpah did not have final cut on this movie.
Really?
Steve McQueen did. So he chose what he wanted to show in the movie, and Sam Peckinpah was like, he made him look like he's like the coolest guy, and like he took all the Playboy safe shots instead of playing like the real movie that I wanted to make, and blah blah blah. And yet, all of those scenes of him cracking these women and beating children are all in the movie. Like, he wanted to look cool. And yet, somehow, he kind of does.
I was going to say that, like, as you were recounting all those things, because, like, I watched the movie, I saw those things. And, you know, like, the domestic violence, I was like, oh, that's a bit much.
Yeah, when he slaps her in the face, like on the side of the road, you're like, dude. And she's crying.
That part, to me, was pretty tough. But
and he really did that. Like, he did it surprising Ally McGraw.
Really?
And she did not know that was going to happen. That was not scripted.
Damn, Steve McQueen.
Not very cool, Steve.
To, I guess, the director's point of, like, trying to look cool, I generally would see that type of stuff and be like, ooh, no. But, like, somehow Steve McQueen was just like, all right, well, you know, look, he knows what's best.
Yeah, he knows. Sorry, Dad. I'll do better next time.
Because I think, though, part of that is because of the importance they put on Doc. Like, I guess he's still supposed to be, like, some kind of criminal mastermind in the original, but, like, kind of seeing the heist and how it kind of went to shit, and, like, it wasn't very good with the nephew and everything. I was like, all right, I guess he's okay. But, like, Steve McQueen, there's mystery. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, why is he in jail? And maybe he is the best.
And he's the only person that can pull this off.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll use my political influence to break you out of jail, because you're the only person that can pull this off.
And also the level of monotony that he goes through.
Yes.
Like what he's going through, he in the 4 years as opposed to 1, and him going crazy like that. That's why he does all the other things. Like, I'm not going back to jail.
Right.
He shoots up the cop car. Like,
yeah, no, the motivation's really there.
Much more clear.
Really there. Like,
also, we mentioned, like, when I was talking about Kim Basinger, we were like, these people, not everybody's watching TV. I thought that was such a good, I'm really not a fan of the Ex Machina move of, like, oh, the news happens to be on when but they do it for the joke in the movie when, like, he's going to buy a radio at the pawn shop and the TV's on, and it's like, oh, this guy, he turns off the TV because he knows it's about him.
Yeah.
And then he's on all of the TVs already, and he's like, oh, son of a bitch. And the guy's like, I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was such a great move, and they're all like in sequence at the same time, but it's like 40 TVs that the guy could see, and he turned off the one thinking he's okay now.
So good.
I thought that was very good. But
yeah. I just think that like Steve McQueen comes across like a criminal mastermind.
yeah.
And
That's also what I'm saying. Like he's
Baldwin-
at the same time, like he's doing all these terrible things, but at the same, like I'm in the back of my head thinking, well, he's a criminal.
Right.
I mean, he's not exactly a good dude.
Right.
Who said like, why is she married to this guy to begin with?
Right. And it's like because like you mentioned with Allie, like what she's kind of giving in her scenes, clearly he's running the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Kim at some point was like, nah, that's enough. Like
Yeah.
you'd be like, okay, like rightfully so. It's just like the way Doc is lionized in the first film, you just assume he knows what's best.
Yeah, he does. And
you know,
frankly,
all the terrible things he does.
yeah, and frankly, Steve McQueen does know best. Like he's
Yeah.
the movie star, she's not,
Yeah.
and he's the bank mastermind, she's not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of it's life imitating art at that point.
Yeah. Now, we kind of talked about this with the last McQueen movie,
The Thomas Crown Affair.
Thomas Crown Affair. Yep. Like in the way the heist works, this '96 film is much more action oriented. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of action
Yes.
in '72, but like, I guess what I mean by that is like when you see Alec Baldwin, like for instance, when he stops the dude that like conned his wife to steal the money from her while they're at the
Yes.
train station. Like when he catches the guy, it's like,
Oh my God.
come on, and like he's like Max Payne jumping with shotguns here and there.
Yeah.
A thief serving a long sentence in a Mexican hellhole.
It's like
It's so much more simplistic. Like but like I said, we were discussing during the Thomas Crown Affair when Steve McQueen is knocking someone out, dude. Like he hits that dude so many more times than is necessary. He like when he's like, and then he's coming down on the collarbone on the dude, like and he keeps going. And he's like, he's knocked down. One for good measure.
But this is him doing it quiet. Like the ticket guy is like with an eye.
Yes,
shot.
with
He's
an
like,
eye shot.
He's
And
like
all I kept
5 seats
thinking-
down. Just like,
It's like yeah, mission on his face makes him look like he's sleeping. I was like, this motherfucker is knocked the fuck out. And I just kept thinking, New Jersey Transit.
Yeah,
I kept thinking, I'm like,
ticket please.
take it please. It's like, yeah, don't worry about him.
But also, like, that's the other thing about Steve McQueen. Like, again, it, as always when I talk about McQueen, it feels like he's just that dude who's like, yeah, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck do you think you were doing?
Yeah.
Also, what I really, really like about the original film is when the like con dude's like, oh, he's like taking the money, he's like, wiping his face with it.
And smelling it.
He puts the bankroll in his pocket. So when the cops catch him, they're like, well, you're under arrest.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we don't know who else did the robbery, but we're looking for 3 guys, and you're a guy with
You're
money.
a guy
It's
with
like,
the bank wrap in it.
Yeah.
But in both of them, that he put the money in his thing. Did you think like that guy got away with $10,000? Like,
I would have like.
well, that guy's going to jail. That one, the other one's not.
Right. It's like that's my thing about like the original. Like, yes, he did get away with 10,000, and if you're the con man, kind of like it's not bad.
Yeah, it's a good day.
You got your
his
face was mashed up.
Yeah, it's like
you
you
a Street Fighter.
Yeah, but you're a fucking con man. Like you got $10,000 for I don't know what, an hour's work.
Half
All
hour,
right,
maybe.
Yeah,
you know.
And then I just wanted to like with the black kids that like had the
water gun?
most realistic water
Super
gun,
looking-
super like
yeah.
oh that might. Be, at first I was like, are they insinuating that this is a real gun?
Yes.
And no one's stopping this kid. Whatever. But when they're at the police station, I just wanted to when they showed the black kid the mugshot of Steve McQueen, I wanted him to go like, that's that motherfucker. I just wanted to say something like over the like 1970s. Like that was so brutal. And
Dude, it was crazy.
I like. By the way, there was no doubt. Like the guy was also smaller. Like I think Steve McQueen was actually just beating the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, that guy was just like an extra. Was like, oh, nice to meet you,
Yeah,
Steve.
nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
What was he gonna do?
Yeah.
But like, just that, what's so funny about that is, like you mentioned, like the half hour where it's like, I guess you're getting your comeuppance because you're like a con man, but like, I don't know, you want to do like 10 years because you like rob some lady,
Yeah,
and like it's maybe longer because like you're now tied to a bank robbery, murder, and you're like, I swear to God, I know what it looks like. I know I've got.
No, I just robbed this woman.
I like there was a guy.
Yeah,
he was a dude.
He's a dude. He looked like a guy.
Oh man, it's just so funny.
Beautiful woman in El Paso, whatever. Oh man, that dude. Also, that it just looks. I've never been so happy when I saw her just waiting there.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never been so happy to have a cell phone in all my life.
Oh my
I was
God.
sitting there watching. I was like, what? Yeah, you did nothing. You sat there. If you didn't have a book, you were like, well, there's the ceiling.
That was wild. Yeah, like the fact that she just has to sit there while he's on the train is like, how many hours was that?
Oh,
How long?
So I don't know if you got. This gave me the vibes of like. When he gets out of jail, then the first time, then they go swimming with their clothes on, which that's silly.
That's just Steve McQueen.
That's just Steve McQueen. Like, let's do something different.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about when he's like, whiskey, what do you want for dinner? Whiskey. He's like, yes, and maybe a steak tomorrow.
Right.
But like, oh, this steak is so good. But that whiskey would taste better than any drink you've ever had in your life.
Yeah,
and then when you had sex with that gorgeous with your wife for the first time after 4 years, I was just thinking like, I was texting my girl like, you know something? Like this is another level, man. This is like, oh my God, if I just got out of prison for 4 years, do you understand what my... it would be in the car, and like I'd get out of the prison into the car, and that's it. And it would be 14 seconds. It'd be like, okay, well, I'll wait. I'll just give me another 25, and we'll spend the next 2 days in bed. Like that's in both movies. I think they come up to him. They're like, yeah, meet us at wherever at 12:30 day after tomorrow.
Yeah,
and he's like, okay. I was like, that's exactly enough time of what I need because what I'll be doing in that time, just straight fuck.
Straight up. Actually, to your point, when that happened, like when that scene happened, it reminded me. There's a show called like Love After Lockup or something like that, and like it was all these like quite frankly insane women and men sometimes that like are in relationships with like prisoners who they just kind of met through the prison system, not even like their boyfriends. And it's like that is kind of what happens. Like this guy's been in jail for 5 years, and then like it's like cut to him smashing some chick, and it's like, yeah, that's got to be like the craziest sex.
Yeah. Oh, that and like, fugitive sex, which what they do do much more. They do both of them, but that's those two. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm restored belief in God type shit.
We need to get to Sally Struthers and Jennifer Tilly, which is my husband's a lame veterinarian in this fucking crazy.
Poor Harold.
Harold.
Name the cat Harold.
Jeez. Yeah, and I forget these characters as well. There's so many people that happen. In the 72 film, Jack Dodson plays Harold Clinton, which is he's a veterinarian who has to patch up the Rudy character. Who was shot mercilessly by...
Steve McQueen on the double cross. Steve McQueen. Also...
How many times does he shoot him?
Oh my God. It's so many times.
Like, I was like, oh, I guess he's done. Then he shoots him again. And I was like, I don't care how much bulletproof you
That shit hurts. Which is exactly how he breaks his collar.
Correct.
He also barely checks to see if he's dead.
Yeah.
But also, I think it's so funny. Like, every single time that Rudy comes to get Steve McQueen, specifically Steve McQueen, never for 1 second is Rudy on top.
No.
Like, Steve McQueen is in full control of the situation and just keeps beating him down until he's dead.
It's true.
Never. At least with Michael Madsen, it's like he has the jump on him at one point.
Oh, yeah,
And he does a couple things.
Michael Madsen's like formidable, actually. In this
and in no situation is Sollozzo on top.
Well, I think part of it too is like again the framing. Sollozzo's just some dude.
Yes.
Whereas like Rudy's supposed to be like more important in the remake, and it's like I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't really care exactly.
Because Michael Madsen, again, you don't get any more out of this because you have the Mexican heist scene.
Yes.
Like there's no okay, I guess he's a little bit angrier at Michael Madsen.
Also,
but like, who cares?
Can we get back just to talk about?
Sure.
Other than the only time that Rudy ever has the upper hand is like when he leaves him like knocked out with Sally Struthers. He goes to or in the hallway when Steve McQueen and Ally McGraw are leaving. He goes to the window and he shoots at them once. And then Steve McQueen immediately turns around and blows him away. And he's dead.
Takes him out.
That's it. But no, in the beginning, if you're the drug cartel, the guy who hired Steve McQueen to get this guy, not Steve McQueen, Alec Baldwin to get this guy out of prison, and he does.
Right.
Then the
give him 100
plot
million
twist, plot twist, he gives him $300,000 or whatever. Plot twist, he immediately kills the nephew because the nephew was stealing money from him. That's why he wanted him back, to kill him. To get him out of jail.
Hire someone to kill him?
Yeah, okay, number one, hire someone to kill him in prison. Number two, as soon as he gives Alec Baldwin the money, he sends the cops on him.
Right.
Why give him the money at all? Or just kill him right there. It's not like you're worried about like going to jail for murder. Yeah, you just killed that guy.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so you lost. Your plan.
Your plan.
I'm going to give him the money, and then I'm going to get him arrested, and then the policia have the money.
Yes.
I don't care how bought out the police are, like, you're not really recovering that cash.
Yeah, it's not coming back.
It's a bad plan.
Yeah, it's a bad plan. I was like, why the extra step?
I think
and then just kill him.
I think it also minimized the movie because, like, this is like baby heist.
Yes.
It's like some baby heist that doesn't really
mean
anything. It's just, it's like, the dog race heist is shot actually really, really well. I like the way it's shot and how it looks, but like, in some ways it doesn't even meet the same parameters that like the baby heist, that is what I'm calling it from now on, does. Because like, there's the cop vans and he's doing all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, there's also heist elements to this dog track thing, but like, it's not much more complex than this first heist that really meant nothing.
Meant nothing at all, and is much more high risk.
It's a super high risk.
Super high risk for $300,000, and they're doing less for more money.
Correct. It's more money. It's international. You're in Mexico.
Yeah.
It involves the cartel. Like, just this thing that is ultimately irrelevant. Yeah, like you mentioned, it's like it's just a higher level heist in some ways than the heist that you want me to focus on. It was a bit weird. I just didn't understand it.
And in both movies too, they have each of them drive. Steve McQueen and Alec Baldwin drive a car, a van with a bottom that opens up to the street.
Yep.
And it's like, what mechanic is making that? That's not like it's almost like the question of you ask, like, how did Bruce Wayne build the Batmobile?
Right.
Like, how does that? You're like, every mechanic that's building that is like, what are you robbing something? That's the first question. Because what else do you need this for?
Right.
No, because the mufflers and a lot of brake lines go under there. So now you need a gap of like, why?
Yeah.
That's the first question. First question.
So,
it's like, don't worry about it. Well, I'm gonna worry about
it.
Of
course. Maybe that guy owes something. I mean, people can be swayed, you know?
Yes.
Like we were saying with, holy shit, Jack Dawson, who's Harold Clinton.
Yes.
And Sally Struthers, who Fran Clinton.
I gotta stop.
Yes. Oh, so both Rudies stumble upon a veterinary. When they escape, they're basically left to die.
Yes.
By Steve McQueen and Alec Baldwin. And they while driving around, need medical assistance, and they find
like a veterinarian.
And Harold, played by
and then in '96 is James Stevens, who's Harold Carvey, and Jennifer Tilly. Oh my God, Jennifer Tilly, who plays Fran Carvey.
Yeah.
Now, this movie, and I talked to you briefly off camera about this. This movie has a lot to do with lack of internet terminology, cucks. People are getting like now.
He gets cucked. Yeah, they both do.
Steve McQueen gets cucked. And look, we knew that wasn't going to stand. Steve McQueen doesn't take this type of shit laying down. But like the Harold thing, like here's a guy who saved Rudy's life.
Yes.
Literally saved his life, And then he's like, well, you're going to need more medical attention. He's like, well, your wife looks like a nurse.
Yeah. Immediately, basically snatches up his wife as his own concubine.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong.
And she's fully on board.
Oh, she's 100% on board.
From the jump, she's like...
She is bored as shit with Harold in his veterinary clinic. And she just wants that little cat, the little kitten.
Yeah.
And now Rudy is now her dude. Immediately. Within seconds. And Harold is now forced to be the cuck of all of this.
In Played to, and this is horrific, but it's funny because it's a movie, but like, played to comedic effect, this man who's been kidnapped, who has a business and that's been...
Pays taxes, does all the right things. A job
and
helping animals.
Helps animals, saved this random criminal's life, who then the criminal holds him at gunpoint, ties him up. The criminal, Rudy, ties Harold up, makes him, Harold watch him have sex with his wife multiple times. Harold can't take that. At some point, kills himself.
Yes. Both in the hotel bathroom, the motel bathroom.
The motel bathroom. And Rudy and Frank don't give a...
They don't give a shit at all.
Whatever. Good riddance. I think actually in a lot of ways the 72 film, like they really shit on Harold. Like, like he's getting stabbed
they
in the
both
back.
do.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. Like Madsen is more...
Terrifying.
Yes, he's
much more
terrifying.
He's much more menacing than fucking Sollozzo. Sollozzo's like a fat schlub.
Yeah, it's like...
with like a giant gun.
It's like, all right, like maybe like spill some like beans or something on the windshield. It's like, ooh, you. But like, yeah, Madsen's like, I will kill you.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna enjoy killing you if you don't shut getting the fries hit in his head and like watch it. Like, isn't this great? Because I'm gonna kill you.
As good as like Sally Struthers is in this, like Jennifer Tilly's
out of control.
Oh my God.
Sally Struthers, though. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
I know she's in All in the Family and stuff, and she was like a good-looking woman. But when I think of Sally Struthers, I think of all those like Save the Children, like and all the for $1 a day. Yeah, and she does not look like that. She looks gorgeous in this movie, by the way. But Jennifer Tilly, out of control.
Like dripping sex.
It's dripping. With like the hot voice, the everything.
The whole thing. Like, yeah, it's just, it works. Why did I bring that up again? I don't even remember. Probably just to talk about Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
But like...
this movie of cucks.
Yeah, exactly. The cuck thing. Like, Benyon bangs Steve McQueen or whatever, Alec Baldwin's, Doc McCoy's wife, because Doc's in prison. He can't do anything about it. But if Doc could do something about it, I bet that wouldn't have happened. Versus Harold, who it just happens to him, and it's pretty sad. And you shouldn't, but you can kind of understand why he has the demise that he does.
Yeah.
Like, is that like the theme of the movie? Like, don't bang someone's wife? I don't know.
That's exactly what it is.
Because the movie's not about don't do crime.
No.
Because crime's cool.
No.
Do crime, especially if you can get away with it. Especially if some like old dude who's running afoul of the law is willing to like drive you and your wife to Mexico.
Who also didn't bang someone's wife, who gets you out of it. Yes. And he gets the married couple out of it.
That's right. That's right.
See?
So yeah. And
the moral of the story is be faithful.
Yeah, except
don't covet thy neighbor's.
That's true.
Don't.
And to be fair, and that's reiterated because in '96 they added an extra element that at the end of the movie there's an older gentleman, like I don't even know what his job is, whatever.
Jumpman.
Yeah, he's like a Jumpman mechanic type character who drives him to Mexico. Now in '96 they add this extra element where like he's got a mamacita.
He's got a mamacita in the town, so he's much more familiar with the border. The border guards, because he goes and sees a woman down there, and I guess he's dating a woman down there.
To be fair, because at this point in the movie, the guy's wife is dead. So
yes, and she's been dead 10 years, and he's like, listen, if she was still here, I'd be going home to her. There's not even a question.
So again, that's the morality of the movie.
And then also the morality. The other guy though in the 72, he's like, yeah, that's good, man. Like, I'm glad you guys are married because there's. First of all, he's like, you're not going to get any problem out of me either. Yeah. But the fact that you're married, good. At least there's something going right in this world, man. Right. Like,
these kids think they got to live together to live.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. The guy willing to take people who clearly just murdered a bunch of people across the border because he also just doesn't like the law himself.
Yes.
Which works really well. I know it's a 70s movie, but like in my mind, it feels like even a bit earlier.
Yeah.
The way it, like, period wise. So like I believe that there's like a curmudgeonly old like dude who's like fuck the police.
Yeah, fuck the police.
It's like
I get it. I don't want to do that shit either.
And like it's even more like, again, in a movie where 96 is more action oriented. One of the biggest action scenes in 72 is like the old guy helping them escape, smashing the cars like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Fuck society.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of
He's
fun.
sticking it to the man in his own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
just
even
don't
also
stick it to the man's wife. That's all.
don't stick it to the man's wife. Just be like, mind your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Do your job. Like, I think this movie is more of an allegory for go to work and love your wife and do your job the best of your ability.
Even when you're in prison,
Yes.
you're trying to get parole. Just
I was thinking about that, like being Harold in that situation. Like it's like so you can't really do anything about it. Like you can't because you have to go on this trip or whatever. Like this guy's
you kind of
pulling a
wait it
gun.
out though, right?
You're sitting there like I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And then immediately I'm booming Steve McQueen right in that broken collarbone. That shit like bah bah bah, grabbing that gun, bah, and then looking at her. Bah.
Yeah, because like at this point you're like, well, as much as it's about Harold, it's like, well, clearly I've chosen wrong. Like this does suck. It's like
Both of them, I kind of had something like, so is this gonna come back or no, not at all. Harold's gonna kill himself.
And like, I guess because it's based on a novel, I said to myself, is that like this guy's thing? Like the writer's thing was just like people
I think so.
Banging people's wives?
Yeah,
and
and he's into it. He's like,
yeah.
He was into cuck porn way before.
Way
before it was fashionable.
That just seemed to be like the consistent through line. And like, at some point the heist element of it became kind of secondary, which was, I don't know, it was weird.
Because they start going through like the emasculinity. Like, and I was also thinking about that, like if my wife had sex with a guy to get me out of prison, and I was thinking like how I would react. Listen, I would not be happy with it, but at the same time, I'd be like, "Thank you, thank you." Like
which is why McQueen and Alec Baldwin ultimately are like,
yeah. And I think like Kim Basinger does a much better job of it being like, "Listen, I did it to get you out. It's not like I wanted anything to do with that guy." But there was like, but they both do the thing in the when they meet
plus
Benyon.
You sent me there.
Yeah, you sent me there, but when Steve McQueen and Alec Baldwin confront Benyon or whatever, and then the wife kills him. At first they pull the gun on Alec Baldwin and Steve McQueen. She pulls the gun on her husband, and then turns it like, no, just blow him away. Just kill it. You're gonna do it. Like you're gonna do it. Don't pull it on him. What are you doing?
Yeah, because like even to a certain perspective, like why?
It's almost like in both movies they want you to like have this seed of doubt that they did it because they wanted to and not to get them out of jail. But then halfway through the script they were like, no, we want to decide that it's because she loves her husband.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, no, you can't have it both ways. Like just pull the gun out and kill him, and then be like, oh, that guy, he's dead, huh?
Yeah. In the '90s film, there's like more foreshadowing. There's like a couple scenes where like she mentioned some things about Benyon and like Alec Baldwin's like, what is it?
Yeah.
A little weird. Why? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a little bit more.
You owe him nothing.
There's a little bit more foreshadowing and stuff like that.
Also, it's much more believable that she slept with James Woods than Ally McGraw slept with that. Who's like literally the Texas gentleman, like yeehaw.
It's true. I kind of like both Benyons. Like they
I like them both fine. And also, when I was watching the
original Benyon actually, in some ways, is more menacing, just because like I actually believe he has this much control.
Yes, I do too.
In the town.
Yes, I absolutely.
Like James Wood feels like kind of like a business guy. Like you got influence, but like I don't think
it's Mexico, bro.
I don't think you get with anything.
Yeah, anything.
You know.
Yeah, that guy I feel like does own that town. The only thing when they're sitting around the office.
Yeah.
His
like creepy.
Yeah, his crew. Yeah, all his crew, and that guy with the mustache who's phenomenal, by the way. I was like, who are you? I gotta know your story. But when they're all sitting around, I'm like, hey, and the phone rings, and there's like all the cronies sitting there. I'm like, hey, I got a question. What are you guys doing?
Right.
Like, are you playing cards? Because you're not.
Right.
Like, how are you passing the time, I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're not drinking. Are you drinking? Because I don't see any glasses. They're
someone's
just
hot
eating.
wife-
Yeah. It's like, I hope someone gives us an update on this beignet situation. Oh, he's dead? Let's get over there.
Yeah.
And why also the cold-bloodedness to his dead body in both movies?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, huh?
Yeah, it's like, just dump in the well. Well, he
I
deserves a
think-
proper burial. It's like,
Yeah, it's like, just shut up and listen to me.
This
What?
is a
Like,
dried up well.
You know,
over there.
you could just...
Yeah, you could
I mean, you could do both, right?
dispose his body properly.
I could see, like, okay, well, we don't have the time to do all this right now.
Right.
But then don't throw it in the well.
It was confusing. Like, and literally, like, wrapped him up, put him in the well, like, hanging in the... It was weird. It was weird.
And they do the shot in the remake of him falling in the well. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What? Is this necessary? I believed you.
I think, like, to your point about the script is, it wants you to feel a certain way about these people. Like, Binion slept with his wife, so whatever he gets, he gets. But it's like, he also got him out of jail. Like, I don't know, like, he's not great.
Nothing's
like,
free.
He's just exerting his power.
Yeah.
And it's not great.
And, I mean, have you seen that lady?
But Doc's exerting his power. He's like, I'm good at robbing people. It's like, I'm just gonna...
Yeah,
like,
he's
there's no morality, there's no honor amongst
Yeah,
these.
exactly. He's exploiting the gorgeous wife of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, is he much more morally superior? He's not.
Yeah.
He's murking cops like nothing in this movie.
That's true.
There's not a shadow of a doubt that Steve McQueen or Alec Baldwin has killed several people.
So, as you just like, you said moral superiority, just jumped in my head, right? Like they play Carol in both films to a certain extent as this like morally superior, almost like, yeah, she's connected to this criminal, but like kind of out of it, almost like a more pure person. But like that can't be.
No,
that
she's
can't
not.
Because like
from the intro, I would believe it.
With Binion. Like,
yes, in the beginning, in the 72 one, I would argue
I can see
it's closer.
I can see that, yes.
Because she's like, I didn't want to
Almost
do
like
it.
naivete,
It's like
yeah.
it's like it's not sexual aggression, but it's not far off.
Right,
Like I didn't because I didn't say no, but it's not far off.
Right,
from it.
right,
Like
yeah.
it's like I didn't want to do it, but and then she's like, I used all the plays I can, man.
Yeah,
Like I don't know
yeah.
what you want.
Well, that's Kim. Like
She's Kim Basinger, and she's also when you're introduced to her, she knows everything about those guns. She's like, this one doesn't have as much kick. This is nothing. Like, oh, I like this gun. She's like, this is not her first rodeo.
Yeah, that like kind of Bonnie and Clyde thing.
Yes.
Is there like? Yes, exactly. She's a criminal.
She's a criminal as well.
She's a criminal. Like the original one, like maybe she got mixed up with a criminal.
Yes,
kind of,
and
but,
she
like,
fell in love with a guy who's
Right.
not the nicest guy. But she's not like...
Kim's no shrinking violet, you know.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
And then but that almost gives you, when she sleeps with Benya, that she's totally degrading herself for the sake of her husband.
Right.
Like it's even, I mean, Kim Basinger is too.
Sure.
But she's like,
more.
I did not want to. Like you feel bad for her.
Right. Yeah, she's a much more sympathetic Carol in 72.
And it's like, hey, and just
which is why you feel
based on
kind of bad when
yes.
she gets slapped around. You're like, come
Oh,
on.
I do. Yeah, it's like, this is unnecessary.
This is very, exactly unnecessary.
Yeah, it's completely unnecessary.
The Kim thing, like, is almost like in the remake is like, yo, Alec better be careful. Like, I think he picked the amount of slaps. Was like, all right, that's as much I'm gonna get away with.
Yeah, exactly.
Before she takes me out.
It's like, and none of that, but she's leaving. So, like, this woman is gone.
She kills several people.
Yes.
Herself.
Yes.
In the 96 film. I can't quite remember if the other one had a body count. I don't think.
There's one.
Okay.
There's one. So there's
That's right.
on the stairs, and then Steve McQueen comes right behind with the shotgun, like I got this, baby. Which I thought was actually pretty cool. It's like both of them killing this one guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only one I think.
That's true.
But
Kim
Basinger, they give her Jennifer Tilly to take care of.
Yep.
Like so, she knocks her out.
Yeah.
And then Steve McQueen's like, no,
Dude,
I
she
got
took
this
a
one.
hell of a right.
Yeah, I know.
Hell of a right on Gentili.
Yeah. And then, of course, her skirt goes flying out.
Oh,
I was like, of course.
Well, that was
the 90s.
That was for all of us.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Jennifer Tilly really understood the assignment.
Yeah, she really did. She's incredible.
I'm not gonna be any trouble to you. Fact is, this may sound kind of funny, but I was thinking that maybe you and I could be friends.
Hey, Polka Dot, get over here.
Incredible performance.
It was great.
It was good performance.
No, it was, you know, like, that's what I was saying earlier when I said the, like, character actor thing. I really didn't want to, I didn't mean that derogatory. Like, they're all such good.
They are good.
Actors.
Yes.
And, like, they're playing these characters, and they're playing them very well.
Oh, it's extreme. The remake, the acting, like, I would say everyone other than Steve McQueen is a better actor in this one, in the remake, with the exception of the guy who owns the hotel. That guy in the original, I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
This guy is amazing. Not only that, but like he has his family surrounding him all the time, like, and he keeps his family so he doesn't gamble and watch the ponies. Like, yep, that guy gambles and watches the ponies all the time and drinks all the time. It's like that 100%. That guy was amazing. Laurel or like Laughlin, Dub Taylor.
Oh, Dub Taylor. Okay, Dub Taylor playing Laughlin. Yeah. Also, again, kind of like the unnecessary cruelty of '96 when they're just like torturing.
Dude, when they take that's one thing that stuck out in my head.
I didn't know where they were sticking that thing.
Yeah, when like I just assumed it's like right in the right in the urethra, and I'm like, oh,
I think that was gonna end up being his knee, though. I don't know.
I thought it was
maybe. I don't know. Who knows?
I was sure.
I think I just had to. I thought it was gonna be his asshole or his crotch, and I was like, this.
Well, he was sitting. He was sitting on his back, like he was sitting face up like this. So there was.
Yeah.
It was. Oof. So when he's doing that, and I was like,
also just.
I remember that.
There he is.
That
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Tortured, and it's like, oh, there's a guy.
Yeah, it's like, and he's giving you all the information. You're doing it for no reason.
Just for cruelty.
Yeah, for cruelty.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, and then I remember seeing that when I was young, like after like the sex scene, and then seeing that like, oh God, like after what I've just abused myself. But then that happens to him, and then like, oh God, like no, and then And I've never been able to look at one of those things the same way.
Oh,
again.
no,
Those needles that you put the receipts on.
Yeah, no, it's changed my life.
Oh, I've never been able. Oh God, it was so bad. Oof. And then, did you see the other guy, the Laughlin, in the original? Yeah. What was in his pocket when he went when they start shooting? He goes under the desk for safety. It says like. It's like sex in your late 50s or something like still in love or something like that. Sex in your late 50s. It's a pamphlet in his back pocket. You're like, that tells you so. Like just that little thing. You're like, that's great.
So good. You know the other thing about '72 again. Like I said, it feels like an older film. Maybe it's just because it's the South, right? Like, who knows what the South in any era is like? It could be the Wild West. It feels pretty even in the sense that, like, if anyone, like the guy at the gas station, the guy at the TV repair shop, pulls out a gun, you're like, yeah, that's fair game.
Yeah, that's correct.
like the lawlessness of that Texas feels like this could happen.
This could happen, yes. They could actually get away with this. Yeah. Or not.
Or not, exactly. 96 is just, like, very action-oriented. Like, in this Laughlin scene here, really does feel that, right? Like the guy getting tortured, they're like the way they're shooting at each other, like the extended shootout scene, like there's just more to it.
Yeah, and like to your point, what you said before, like jumping, like
he jumps out a couple times with like a shotgun.
Yeah, and he shoots it like, and I remember one time he didn't. He shot twice before he fell. It's like you did not.
Yeah, like, no, you would not.
Before you go, no, you're not doing that.
No.
It is
kind of outlandish.
Yeah, it's outlandish. It plays it up like the shootout in the except the one thing that he does
when he shoots that cop car. Yeah, it's just so matter of fact.
Yeah, right. Like tire, back window, gas tank.
I've done this before. I'm Steve.
And also like Steve McQueen's gun work.
Oh my God,
he's so smooth.
He looks amazing.
He looks like this guy actually is a criminal.
Baldwin looks like an actor with a gun.
Well, obviously, we know that's true.
I tried to stay away from that one. Yeah.
But the only thing that happens in the movie was when he shoots the one cop, not cop, but the crony, and he's behind the door, and he closes it. It's a glass window in the door.
Right.
He closes it, and Steve McQueen shoots it. He shoots the door like 8 times, and then on the last one, he breaks the glass. He looks in, the guy's dead. It's like, the glass isn't the first thing to break in the door? Like, that's, I think that's a prop department fail, but... And then they do the falling of the elevator, and that's how the creep guy with the mustache dies.
Wow.
That, I'm like, how far was this... Like, that's not a big hotel. That I think that guy would be okay.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
He's probably fine.
Probably. Just, I don't know, like... I guess because they're based off a novel.
Yeah.
I like both films. To your point, right? Like with the character acting, I don't know if this is the wrap up. It kind of feels like it.
Okay.
Unless you got
no, I don't. No hot takes. Incredibly.
Yeah, like the '72 film. To me, kind of feels like it could happen.
Yes.
You know.
Especially the scope of the world being smaller.
Yes. Yes.
Like the country's not looking for you.
Right.
In 1994,
It's
whatever movie time this was.
Texas.
It's Texas. Like everyone's looking for you.
Right. Right. '96. Like again,
you're not getting over the border.
I think we get like you mentioned, quite the upgrade in most of the acting department. And again, I didn't want to like be rude about Alec Baldwin. I think he's a fine actor and can definitely star in a film. But like, it's Steve McQueen, dude. Like Pierce Brosnan. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we're
James
again,
Bond,
and they're not doing a 1-to-1. They're kind of like doing different things. So it's like, okay,
this one's 1-to-1.
This is a 1-to-1 because like the story is the story.
Yeah, it's the story, and it's almost it's the same script with a little bit of changes.
Yeah,
like it's almost like verbatim. There's a lot of like Michael Madsen saying like, I'm gonna punch her clock.
Yeah,
like
right.
He says that in the '72 one. Solazzo says the same thing.
It's like the '96 film again feels a little less realistic. One, because of like how the action is shot. Like you mentioned, the jumping, the double shotgun pump.
Yeah.
The Baldwin karate when he's like, you don't leave scratches on the lock thing. Versus just God,
just like the elbow works, man.
Yeah,
the elbow
that was fine.
Like that little runt doesn't know karate.
Correct.
You don't need the jujitsu.
Just beat him up.
Just
regular.
beat the shit out of him.
Exactly.
And also, that karate never comes back up for Alec Baldwin.
Not at all.
Why did you do it there?
Not at all. It was kind of weird. It was like
the only part that the over action works, I think, so much better is when they kill Michael Madsen.
Yeah.
Like which I thought was actually interesting, that the shotgun's stuck in the door and Michael Madsen's pulling on the shotgun, but the shotgun's empty. And he puts the shell in and it basically cocks it and he blows him away.
That was nice.
It's because when they kill Solazzo,
right,
it's so much more unceremonious. Like he's just like shooting like boom, dead.
Right.
And you're like, why? And also, why does Steve McQueen and Alec Baldwin hesitate killing that piece of shit?
That's a great question.
Especially Alec Baldwin.
The Baldwin, yes.
Because this guy left you to die in Mexico, and then left you with the police in Mexico, and then he tried to kill you, and then tried to kill you again.
Right.
Like, what do you think he's going to wake up and be like, that's a good guy?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be Les Mis all over again. Be like,
right.
I am condemned. Like,
it's like, he's been hunting you down. Like,
he's been. He's not going to stop.
He's going to hunt you down some more.
He's going to do it. Just kill him.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to kill you and your wife.
I agree.
And then but Steve McQueen, I also don't know why he doesn't. Like, he's like, and also, I don't know this guy. And I've been killing people this entire movie.
Right. Exactly. And it's like, and like you mentioned, the hesitation doesn't make sense because, like, you already thought you killed him.
Yeah. Exactly. The first time you didn't hesitate at all. Now you're hesitating? Why?
Like 7 times.
Now that you've been proven wrong in your assessment of trying to kill him the first time?
Right. Yeah, it was a bit weird.
It doesn't make that was like, that's silly.
I guess, like, in that sense, as a, like, using that source material, I think 96 is just, like, I think you would have had to, like, kind of edit it a bit to, like, make it more 90s-y, as it were. I did like the kind of change of scenery that it wasn't a bank and it was a dog track, mostly just for the shot.
The shot of it was cool. But also, I think it's more believable in 1994 that they have more money at the dog track than they do at a bank.
I believe
they
have.
Well. I think it was like $3 million.
Yeah.
All right, or something like
that.
Or $2 million or something like that was worth doing, and then he got, that he would have that. They would have that much cash. Like
Yeah.
a bank, I don't know why would they have $2 million. Like the fucking Flagstaff branch of like
Right,
Citibank, they
right.
wouldn't have that much
No,
money.
not even close. So like in that sense, I think that the remake should exist, and mostly because of the depth of character work that we get from people.
Yeah.
I like the Gentili, Michael Madsen stuff. So like
I like that
you're
too.
getting something out of characters that aren't the main. I don't think the main like Baldwin. I don't think he's as strong as McQueen. But
No.
everybody else is so strong.
Yeah,
that it's like,
and also
okay.
like the female character is so much stronger
Yes.
than it is
Yeah.
in like the female lead character than Ally McGraw.
And I guess like for me, it's almost unnecessary that the movie was made, but like I can appreciate the cast they put together to do this.
Yeah.
Like if it had been like a more generic cast from that era, I'd be like, why did you do this? And this
Yeah.
sucks. But like I like so many people in this movie, even James Woods being like James Woods.
Yeah, being James Woods.
I was like, this is great.
But you know what? I'm glad. It's almost like I'm glad it was. This is the difference. Like Steve McQueen, I believe that guy's name is actually Doc McCoy.
Yeah.
Whereas Alec Baldwin, I'm like, you're so cool.
Correct. I didn't.
Doc McCoy.
I didn't buy that.
Cool.
I didn't buy him as Doc at all. Like Steve
Doc
McQueen felt
what?
like Doc. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. Yeah, I didn't quite get that, but and also he didn't strike me as a criminal mastermind. You know, so like again, like I think McQueen is the upgrade in the lead actor perspective, but like everything else is so strong. The action's a little cheesy, but everything else is so strong that I think it was worth remaking. If that's the product that we got, it is what we got. So
Yes.
it's fun.
Also, between the two of them,
Wasn't
I
great,
think
but
between
it's
the
fun.
last two movies that we did, the last two Steve McQueen movies, does Steve McQueen just rob banks? I think he might actually in real life, or did.
Yeah,
I think he did.
it feels like it.
Steve McQueen. Well, the September of Steve is over.
Yeah.
Steve September.
So you're there with me on the remake should exist?
Oh, I think there's a couple things that it
I know,
should.
right? It's like
they're both
right
like
there.
It's like 70-30.
Yeah.
And most of it is Steve McQueen. Like
Correct.
But it's almost like the level of like you can't be Steve McQueen, then don't do the movie.
Right.
Which you couldn't, so don't.
Right.
But at the same time, everything else is better. Like you can't. The domestic violence is problematic.
Sure.
And you could make that movie without that. And then, let's be honest, like the overindulgence of murdering police officers.
Yeah.
It's like, you just turn this into like a federal thing.
Right.
Like you're not getting
Right.
past the border. Everyone
Mexico has
like
extradition laws.
Yeah, exactly. And fax machines exist.
Yeah.
Like your photos, every one of those guys, they know you're in El Paso.
Right.
Like
They know where you're going.
Guess where Mexico is? Right there. Like,
Yeah.
they're going. Every one of those border cops has your photo.
I like the 70-30 comparison because, like, that's true. It's like, I almost would say it shouldn't exist, but, like, I think we just got just enough out of it.
Yeah, like
Just enough.
it's good. It's just it's not Steve McQueen, but everyone else is 1,000. Steve McQueen needs to be in the remake.
Oh,
That's what I mean.
That'd be a fucking perfect
It'd
movie.
be so good. It'd be funny if they remade. That would make Steve McQueen roll over in his grave if they remade the movie with Paul Newman. Like he's like this motherfucker.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So that brings us to an end of Steve September.
Oh yeah, it was a great.
It was a good month.
Sorry, this is getting released in October, but that
yes,
doesn't
it's
matter.
getting released in
You
October.
understand
but-
how this works.
Yes.
We
It was
recorded
so
in
good.
September. That's the point.
Yeah. It was great.
Well, I learned a lot of. This was a great suggestion. because,
Yeah.
like, I didn't know Steve McQueen hit like that. But
Oh,
Jesus.
he smacks, bro.
Next September, the same thing. Another Steve September.
Yeah, there's more we could do.
Oh yeah, it's happening.
Plenty more we could do. Although, we'll do some more research on this and figure
Sure.
it out. But so, what would you like to do for? I know Halloween's coming up.
Spooky season.
Spooky season. I was thinking. I don't know. We didn't discuss this off camera, but it occurred to me. What about The Shining?
Damn. What's
There's a remake of The Shining. They remade it. There's the Jack Nicholson one, and then there's a remake that is closer to the book, because Stephen King notoriously hated
it? Yeah, I remember that. And as always, Stephen King's wrong. No,
No.
no, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
You want to do that? Because I've never seen the remake, so I would be excited
same.
to. And I mean, The Shining's a classic.
Oh yeah,
I could
it
discuss.
is. I had no idea. We didn't discuss this. I am shocked, but this is perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think it's spooky, but it's not Halloween, and we want to save one for the Halloween.
Yes.
So, I like this.
Okay, good.
It's a good plan.
All right. So, well, thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Retro vs. Remake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Dan Farley. You can find me at DanFarley18 on Instagram or JerseyDan18 on X. And,
yeah, I'm Reggie Parker. You can find me at RP Comedy on X and Instagram. Follow Retro vs. Remake on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Like, subscribe, comment, anything. Thank you. It'll help us out. Grow the brand. Feel the brand. Yes, and we're doing this one for solo, bro. We're doing it for solo. You've been twisted. All right, thanks.
I got to work that in.
I know.
I got to work that in. I think the Shaft episode.
I know. It's perfect. That's why I keep bringing
the
back
Van
up.
Peoples.
The Van Peoples. Van Peoples. Joe Peoples.
Joe Peoples.
All right, thanks, guys. See you next time. Have a great day.
Hey.